Might be able to see if we can get hold of Barry Michael and Lester Ellis a little later on. We'll see if we can get the boys out of the change room after that marvellous Clydesdale affair. But there's the pole marker here on the Herald and Weekly Times Pacing Cup Bill, the main race of the day, number 1, Victory Stride, and Vinnie Knight, the driver.
Well, these are the class horses of the day, Peter, hence the Cup. Victory Stride's been racing particularly well. He's one of the top 4-year-olds in the state. And Barrier 1 and Vinnie Knight, what more can you ask for? He's probably got to be the one to beat in the race.
His last start, of course, was well out of his class behind Glenn's Thunder.
Well, he didn't draw anything flash. I think he drew Barrier 9, and you can't draw Barrier 9 and beat Glenn's Thunder.
Last start winner at Yarra Glen, number 2, Ararua's Boy, and the driver here is Kevin Murray, one of the veterans of the harness racing game.
Well, he's a handy horse, Ararua's Boy. Kevin's always got a handy runner in his stable, and he's tough. He likes to race in the death seat, and he's going to be doing his best work at the finish of the race. The only problem here is that the 1900 may not suit him quite as well as when he won at Yarra Glen last start over 2170, but he's gone in with a chance.
Bunder Bart showed somewhat of a return to form last start with a second behind Seekin Hanover at Ararat, and he'll be driven by G.R. Barton.
Been racing without luck, Bunder Bart, Peter. I think that his form doesn't do justice to his ability. He's my selection to win the race. I think he's well up to this, and he's a pretty handy horse. Last start second at Ararat at Ballarat to Seekin Hanover. Seekin Hanover won subsequently in Moonee Valley, so you can't fault the form there.
Number 4 is Graf von S. Now, this horse was a top juvenile pacer. In fact, I was lucky enough to call a few of its early wins here at Moonee Valley, and he looked like being anything, but it appears as though his form might have just tapered off a bit.
Yes, well, he's had one run, a couple of runs from a long spell, one run from a long spell, ran 5th at Geelong. I think he's going to be vastly improved by this, and there is a quiet whisper around that he's going to improve again today. I'd say he's well in this if he gets back to his original form.
Russ Thompson is the driver of number 5, To Learn Tim.
Yeah, well, he's had 2 runs back from a spell, ran second at Charlton behind Acacia Lad, and then ran second off 20 metres in the Cobram Cup on January the 4th, and he got beaten by a good one there, Chair Congeal, coming from, I think, second last. If he can position well early, I think Tell and Tim's got an excellent chance. He has won here at Moonee Valley. He's a very strong finisher, and he's going to be right in the race. Don
Riso is in the powerful stable of Donny Dove. Well, he won at Kilmore 2 starts ago, Bill, but a bad run last start.
He got knocked down last start, Peter, but the Kilmore win was when he sat behind the lead and happened to just run home best and beat Wings of Mercury, who incidentally won here on Saturday night. But the ninth at Moonee Valley you can forget all about, because he was in more trouble than Blackslane, Lawson and Wentworth. And did they get in much trouble? I don't know if they did.
I think they might have, but you've just put them into trouble anyway.
Yeah, anyway, I don't really think Don Riso features in this race from Barrier 6. I think the field's much stronger than he's been racing in.
Number 7, Cop Skipper's out. We move on to the first emergency, number 8, Ken Ross getting a start. The driver here is Graham Lang.
Yeah, well, he's got a chance if he can get an opposition. He's drawn Barrier 8, Barrier 7, and it's a little bit hard from there, but he does run home very strongly. He ran home strongly at Yarra Glen, 2 starts back, and ran a fair race at the Valley on Saturday night.
Okay, number 9 is Napoleon Boy, and Helen Benja takes the drive here, and there's Napoleon Boy on screen.
Yeah, it looks well held from this Barrier, Peter. I think he's going to be at triple figure odds, and that's about his right price.
Johnny Coburn is the driver of number 10, which is Michael Manley.
Been racing rather well without much luck, Michael Manley, and he hasn't drawn all that bad in behind the pole markers in on the second line, and if he can get a run through and get into about 4th position early, well, he's got a very good chance, Michael Manley.
Okay, well, just checking, I think Ken Ross may be out of this race. Number 11, Olympic Chance, the driver here is V. Mark.
Yeah, well, I think Olympic Chance is probably better suited in claimers at this stage. He hasn't been running all that flash recently, and I doubt if this barrier is going to suit him over 1900.
Righto, well, that's the field for the running of race number 7, the Herald and Weekly Times Pacing Cup over 1900 metres. And I think we might take the opportunity now of going back upstairs to Brian Martin for his...
Around at the starting point there, a field of 9 running. Ken Ross number 8, the late scratching here on the course at 1 p.m. 5, 4, 9 on the quadrilla if you're still alive. Lots of luck because the dividends are quite healthy ones too. 5, 4 and 9, the numbers you need. Cycle Bay, Chihuahua Direct in the bracket of Avant Garde and Stanley Boy number 9. Victory Stride prepared by Bob Knight, Midnight Driving. There with the clerk of the course is Graf von S. He was an outstanding juvenile performer, this fellow. He's probably one of the quickest horses you'd ever see off the stand starter, off the mobile. Rita Mifsud drives the horse, trains the horse. Partly owns this entire by Crockett. That's Graf von S moving around with the clerk of the horse at the moment. Behind him in the brown and yellow checks with the yellow sleeves is Bunder Bart. Pretty good sort of fellow, horse, this bloke. He ran second at Ararat last start. He can get up near the lead, and I'd venture to say if he can lead here today, he might take some rolling. Number 3, Bundabat. Could be the one if he can lead. There's the back straight. Runners milling around. And the Mobile in position. As you can see, that's the view that the starter gets from the gate. And his little tower just above where the horses nose up to their respective positions. The 8 on the Mobile gate. City skyline there in the background, and there's the side view. The arms coming out now. The starter with the remote control gets the 2 arms to spread out across the width of the track, almost the width of the track. There's a little bit of room to the outside should there be a problem. And one of the stewards just walking up, checking the gate there, and there are 8 positions numbered for the horses and drivers to come up and find the respective starting position on the gate. Still, I don't think all stewards, yes, the stewards just being dropped off of the final tower, which is situated about the 700 metre mark, as they do enter the back straight. So starter, he blows the whistle. Shortly you'll hear him summon the drivers to bring their charges up to the gate. Stewards have been dropped off there at the final vantage point. They have to climb the tower and get up there. They'll get the bird's eye view up there. Up there also is a cameraman, so that every point of the back straight head on and a rear shot is covered by videotape, and also in the home straight and again on the top circle. So there are 4 different towers that the stewards have front and rear views recorded on videotape should there be a protest or any interference caused in the event. So they can't miss much, as well as 4 stewards being positioned at their respective towers on the turns. Number 5 there, To Learn Tim. He's been well taken in the doubles in the quadrillas, 2.15 and 80. Behind him there, Victory Stride, Vin Knight. $1.35 on the tote now. Bundabat into 180, 3.75 Graf von S, 2.15 for To Learn Tim now. And good odds about numbers 10 and 2, Ararua's Boy and Michael Manley, both about $7.50. Napoleon Boy in the bracket with Michael Manley in the quadrilla. Very hard to estimate the crowd, but I'd say the crowd will probably be up around the 18,000 mark. And I'm sure the harness board and all at the Herald and Weekly Times must be ecstatic with the way the day has panned out. And great racing. Saw a terrific challenge in the previous race that the public saw here between Lester Ellis and Barry Michael on the Clydesdales, and Lester was the victor. And the runners moving to the gate now. Mobile in position, field of 9 running. There on the outside of Don Riso. Out there with Napoleon Boy. Michael Manley, Olympic Chance, the 2 to trail from behind. With a late scratching, only 7 across the front line. We're about to go. Victory Stride back a little bit near the inside. Bundabat's up close, and away they go, although he nearly overreached Bundabat. Oh, he's out of his gear, Bundabat. He broke up, and Graf von S away quickly. Led from Don Riso settling down, and Victory Stride 3rd on the fence. They're followed by To Learn Tim around the outside of Michael Manley. Now Bundabat's only got 3 behind him. Ararua's Boy followed back there with him is Napoleon Boy, and last of all settling down Olympic Chance. Graf von S, Rita Mifsud in front, heading down the back straight, led by a length and a quarter. Victory Stride is second, a length further back on the inside, Michael Manley, and they're followed by Don Riso. It's out on the death from Ararua's Boy inside To Learn Tim, and Bundabat is taking off around the outside and making its run as they head down the back straight. A run down the back with about a lap and a quarter to go. We better change that on Rita Mifsud and put her brother on a Netto. It's a Netto Riv Mifsud, the driver of this leader, Graf von S. 3 metres in front. Victory Stride off the fence second. And Bundabat has to work. He's out there in the death, but he wants to get up towards the front. And Bundabat will work up there and get outside the leader. And Knight's going to get a lovely trail in Victory Stride. He'll get the 1-1 now. Over along the inside as they come into the home straight there. As they sweep down the straight, locked away Michael Manley. Then Don Riso, To Learn Tim 1 deep from Ararua's Boy, Napoleon Boy. Last of all, Olympic Chance. Running to the judge now, they come for the bell, and the leader here is Graf von S, a metre in front. Bundabat after galloping away and racing wide as second, but under pressure. Victory Stride's on his back, getting a lovely run. Michael Manley behind the leader on the fence. Don Riso 3 back on the inside of To Learn Tim. Then came over on the inside Ararua's Boy, 4 back on the inside of Napoleon Boy, and last of all, Olympic Chance. The leader Graf von S down the back, 7.50 out. 4 metres in front of Bundabat under pressure. Michael Manley the rail. Victory Stride travelling very well, 1-1. Don Riso inside him. To Learn Tim's going to go home on the back of Victory Stride when Knight's about to come out, and then Napoleon Boy, Ararua's Boy, and last of all is Olympic Chance at the 450 metre mark. Graf Boness about 4 metres in front of Bundabat on the outside. They're both under pressure. Michael Manley going a right but can't get out. Knight pulls Victory Stride to the outside, and To Learn Tim's going to go home with him. He's running on well, To Learn Tim, and Victory Stride is under pressure. They wheel for home. Graf Boness a metre in front of Bundabat. To Learn Tim out wide, coming home well. So is Victory Stride, and Ararua's Boy getting clear. 5 in line, To Learn Tim, and on the outside Victory Stride. There to get it from Ararua's Boy. To Learn Tim's put his head in front though, and To Learn Tim is going to come home the winner. To Learn Tim by 2 metres, Victory Stride. Michael Manley dived home on the rail and got third. Just ahead of Ararua's Boy out wide fourth from Graf Boness. Bundabat had to do too much in the run from Napoleon Boy, Olympic Chance, and Don Riso one of the last step. To Learn Tim is the winner. Racing up 4 deep as you see, wheeling for home. He and Victory Stride made their run together. Graf Boness grabbed by Victory Stride number 1 in the yellow colours, and then in the orange colours To Learn Tim in turn grabs Victory Stride. Ararua's Boy number 2 further out, coming home well, and that's Michael Manley number 10 going for the rail, with To Learn Tim getting to the lead from Victory Stride close to the line, and gets up to gain the day about 2 metres in the run to the post. To Learn Tim number 5 the winner, number 1 second Victory Stride, and back in the rail number 10 Michael Manley. The judges call for the photo, he will get third. Here they come up the straight. Russ Thompson driving hard in the orange with the gold cap on the To Learn Tim, gets into the lead, and To Learn Tim's one of the couple of metres in the run to the line. Victory Stride had a perfect position in the run, wasn't good enough. Michael Manley didn't have much luck. He'll get up on the inside and he'll get third, just ahead of Ararua's Boy. Graf Boness quickly jumping to the front. Bundabat galloped away, overreached going out of the gate, and got back in the field. Had to make a mid-race move to go up and sit on the outside of Graf Boness, and that's when Victory Stride Knight eased back and got that a perfect cover, 1 out and 1 back. But To Learn Tim was travelling well behind him too, and Thompson realised a long way from home, I think, that as soon as Victory Stride went, he'd have to tack on behind, and that's what he has done here. Now after the photo, number 10 Michael Manley has got third, 5, 1 and 10 last half, and 59.8. To Learn Tim by Keystone Scotch from Austral Glister, raced with T-Weight, JF Severn and AF Ellie. Russ Thompson is the driver and the trainer from Echuca. Victory Stride, Every Chance by Salvation from Pagan Hanover. Number 10 Michael Manley by Kentucky from Marjar, driven and trained by John Coburn, the 3rd place getter. Number 5 To Learn Tim, as we mentioned, well taken in the quadrillas and also the doubles. And we'll have an interim tote dividend for him shortly, 5, 1 and 10. And the other details coming up on the race in just a moment. The track you see the drivers coming down, led by the clerk of the course, is a track that they have put in here for horses when they leave the race track, go across where the 1600 metre gallop start is, across the grass track, onto this area that's probably about 10 to 15 feet wide against the outside rail. That gives them a chance not to wear the grass track out. Still leaves plenty of room for the gallopers. And the winner coming back now. Here are the interim tote dividends on race 7 here at the Valley. To Learn Tim, $2.20 and 75. Number 1 Victory Stride, 75, and 10 Michael Manley, $1.20. 2.20 and 75, 75 for second, $1.20 for third. The Quinella is $3 even. There it is now, $3 even. The daily double confirmed at $3.15, paying on 4 and 5, $3.15 for the daily double. Let's have a look for the trifecta. It's a dividend of $38.85. $38.85 for the trifecta. So the interim tote dividends 5, 1, 10. $2.20 and 75. Victory Stride 75. Michael Manley 1.20. Quinella $3 even. Trifecta $38.85. TAB double 4 and 5 $3.15. And the quadrilla for 5, 4 and 9 and 5, 5, 4, 9, 5. $748.15. $748.15 for the quadrilla. Runners leaving the track now, and the all clear notified. The placing's now official for 5, 1 and 10. Ararua's Boy officially 4th on the outside, and 5th in is number 4 after making the pace, number 4, Graf von S. 5, 1 and 10. And the all clear noted on the Herald and Weekly Times Pacing Cup. The presentation will take place shortly after the running of that particular event. We'll get down for presentations in a moment. 8th event is put back now to 3:55. Is it 3:55 the new starting time? We'll check on that. I'm pretty sure it is. We'll check on that. Numbers there are 5, 1, 10 and the all clear notified 5, 4, 9 and 5 for the quadrilla. You're watching Harness Racing live from Moonee Valley.
The 3DB Stakes, and Bill Hutchison is with us once again, and Billy, number 1 is Dashing Dancer and the driver is A. Everson.
Yes, I think it's got a chance, Peter. Barrier 1's going to suit it. Quite a good run at Yarra Glen, 2 starts back, even though at 7th in the form guide doesn't look anything flash, and ran 4th at Warragul last start, but I think the mobile barrier is going to suit her.
There's number 2 Radiant Romeo on screen now, and Peter Ward is the driver.
A brilliant but unreliable trotter, Radiant Romeo. Just having a look at the tote figures there a second ago, seemed very good odds on the tote. If she happens to do everything right, if he happens to do everything right, I think he's going to be right in the finish.
Okay, there's Radiant Romeo, number 2 on screen now, and Peter Ward taking him around in his preliminary. And just when we do finish the horses, Bill, we'll talk about the difference between pacing and trotting for those people who are a little bit new to the sport and watching perhaps a harness race meeting for the first time today. Let's move on though to number 3, Hello Honey, and the driver here is a gentleman who's been associated with a lot of good trotters in his time, Mark Cunningham.
Yes, well, We Own a Dance is one that comes to mind. Hello Honey's got a stack of ability, but always seems to spoil her chances in a race by galloping. I think this may be her first mobile start, and if the mobile can cause her to do her best today, I think she's definitely in the race.
Stuart Rothiger is the driver of number 4, Bronze Medal.
Well, bronze medals by the old George Gath champ Rodillo Bronze, who won the Victoria Trotting Derby a few years back. She's not a chestnut like Rodillo Bronze was. She's a bay mare, and she won it, opened her account winning at Cobram on January the 4th, and that was her first sign of form. But if she runs up to that race, well, she's got to be well in this.
Number 5 is Technicolor in the grey and pink colours, in fact, and the driver W. Spiteri.
Yes, got some ability, probably not quite up to this class, and barrier 5 might be against, but usually runs the honest race without getting very close to the winning circle.
2 runs after a spell has number 6 Sparrow Hawkhat, and the driver here is Joe Robinson.
Yes, this horse isn't hopeless actually. I saw it trial at Moonee Valley Trials here not that long ago and went all right. Subsequent race starts haven't been anything special, but I think that he's got some sort of chance.
Clinton Welsh is aboard the Bob Micken train, number 7 Trunky Doc.
He just seems to be a one-pace plotter to me, Trunky Doc. Probably going to be plodding on at the end of the race, but I think his lack of brilliance is going to go against him.
Number 8 is Spitfire Lady, the driver in Ford.
Well, it's quite impressive because she beat Flying Tootsies here on Christmas Eve, and Flying Tootsies is going great gun since. Won 2 races, including a win over Two-Come Carry at Kilmore last Friday. And even though she's drawn barrier 8, if she can get out and get a good spot, and there might be a couple of breakers early in the race that might enable her to get close to the lead, I think she's the one to beat, Spitfire Lady.
Little Karen Dunsford is the driver, and there she is behind number 9 Countina.
She's a remarkably consistent trotter, Countina, and she's drawn barrier 9, which, as I explained before, isn't that bad a barrier. If she can get through and get a position early, Countina's right in this race to her ear tips.
Right, Karen Dunsford, the driver there, and number 11 is Supremacy James, and the driver here is R.J. Hall.
He showed a bit of form last season, but's been struggling to reproduce that form this season, Peter, and I think he's well held from barrier 10.
Righto, well, that's the field. Just briefly before we do take a break, Bill, the difference between pacing and trotting, and one thing you will notice there is that the horses aren't wearing any hopples. Now, just what is the fundamental difference?
Well, it's just that I think that with the trotters, their diagonal legs go forward at the same time, and the paces, which are called side wheelers, the legs on the one side go forward, and hence the other side go back at the same time. That's the basic difference between paces and trotters. You usually find that most of them are bred to be one or the other, but there are quite a few trotters that are by pacing stallions, and it happens vice versa at times too.
Okay, so just to explain, there you can see it. It's the right leg closest to us, the right fore, and the left hind will move together, and then it's just, as you say, diagonal, whereas the paces, the right fore and the right hind will move together, and the left fore and the left hind.
That's right. The trotters seem to do it more naturally. The paces, quite a lot, most of them wear hobbles to assist their gait and to systems to stay in their gear. That's why you see more trotters break in races, because they haven't got the gear, the hobbles to assist them.
Okay, well, that's the scene before the start of race 8, the 3DB Stakes. We might take a break and be back here at Moonee Valley in just a moment. At Moonee Valley, we saw the Clydesdale race between Australia's two champion boxers at the moment, Barry Michael and Lester Ellis, even though Lester's decided to call it quits, but I think he might have a career in harness racing after that effort. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. First of all, the winner, Barry.
Thanks,
Lester, he went past you, and you looked as though you were beaten to the wide world down the back straight, but obviously you found that extra bit of vigour.
Well, Peter, at the start, my one started off pretty well. He's sort of right into it. Just ran the back straight, Barry, he's still talking to me, saying, I've got you there, and he's coming around. And his horse was just about to get in front of it, and it sort of just went wide. I sort of got that last bit of ground up, so I was pretty lucky in the last part.
A happy boy at the finish, no doubt.
Yeah, I was pretty happy. I was smacking mine as hard as I could, and the bucket wouldn't run any faster.
Now, Barry, Brian Martin thought you might have mistaken the laps because you went past the post the first time and you tried to run off the track. Was that you or the Clydesdale?
It was the Clydesdale, mate. I'll tell you what, he had a mind of his own for sure. It was great fun, honestly. I really thought I had Lester beaten about 3/4 of the way around, but he was a bit too smart for me, I think.
Yeah.
Down the straight. Yeah.
Well, we might have another look at it. I think we've got the closing stages here of the race, and that move that you made, there you go, down the back straight, and you've probably got about a length in front there, and you look home.
This is where I had a chat to Lester. I said, I've got you now. He said, no, you haven't. But as I came around the corner, I went too wide, or the Clydesdale went too wide. He's slowing up a little bit now. Here comes Lester. Lester's got his second win here.
Well, you stopped as quickly as you started there.
Mate, he just died on me. And then you watched right towards the end, he started coming good again.
Well, in the home straight, I had the sneaking suspicion, and so did Brian Martin, that the horse was more interested in having a pick of the racetrack than he was in finishing the course.
Yeah, he was going all over the place, that's for sure.
Now, look at that driving style. I mean,
brilliant. I've covered about 3 laps already.
You should have L plates on the back of the car. Now, at this stage, there's the driving style that you should have adopted, Lester. You're obviously very, very confident at this stage. Just rehearsing your victory speech, were you?
Oh, Peter, as soon as I see him starting to go in front of him, I just wouldn't stop belting him. I was smacking him as hard as I could.
He got a bit tired in the last bit, though.
We wanted to pull up.
I'm starting to peg you back again, Lester, just barely.
All right, well, there it was, the finish of the race, but great fun.
Yeah, it was good fun, Peter. Something different. It was a nice day for it. It was good.
Of course, you've been out to harness racing before a couple of times, Lester. You're out here over the Inter-Dominion Carnival.
Yeah, I've been out and watched them all. I've had a lot of fun watching something different. I really enjoy myself.
All right, Barry, now what about your plans? Because there's been a few fights organised and one looks as though it's had to be called off, so what's happening?
Well, as Lester will tell you, mate, you never know you're going to fight until the first bell goes. But Bobby Chacon's out now. He's got drug problems, and it's definitely going to be Roger Mayweather, the ex-WBA champion. The purse is going to be the same. The fight will be staged in Las Vegas. I've spoken to the promoter quite a few times in the last week, and you know, he's confident that it's not going to be the last fight for me in America. If I win this one, you know, some big things are going to happen.
Barry, just in closing, we might turn to Lester again. If Barry Michael said to you now that you can fight him, would you come out of retirement?
Oh, I definitely would, Peter. Well, I've really retired. I've lost a lot of interest in boxing, but if I could fight Barry one more time, some fights give you a lot of motivation, some don't. Like my last 3 fights, I had no interest, never trained, because I just couldn't get motivated. But for Barry, I could definitely get motivated because I know it'll be a 15-round war.
Is there any chance we're going to see Barry Michael and Lester Ellis fight?
At this stage, Pete, really my hands are tied. The IBF, you know, wouldn't let me do it. I had to fight the Korean first, which I've done, and I've already agreed to this fight months beforehand. At this stage, not a possibility. But you know, a little bit down the track, if Lester, you know, I think he might think twice about retiring. But you know, you never know. We've had one 15-round war. It would have been nice. I really would have liked to have fought again. I think Lester does know that. But there were problems between both camps, and it just didn't eventuate. And I guess that's history.
Well, Barry, let's hope that you do keep your World Championship anyway, regardless of who you're fighting. You're a great ambassador for Australia, as too has this gentleman been. Good luck with your boxing. Lester, good luck with your harness racing career, because it started all here at Moonee Valley today. Let's go up to Brian Martin.
Trotters are allowed to race in the half hobbles only. And you will see them on horses that hobbles on the front legs only, and they meet underneath the horse's belly. Okay, the square gate is coming up to the gate. A couple of stragglers, they're Count Tina and Supremacy James. They're obviously going to try and get a run at the gate. Pole marker Dashing Dancer back a little bit. $1.30 for number 8 Spitfire Lady. As they move towards the starting point. Trotters event here. Coming up. 8 on the front line, the outside of the front line, Spitfire Lady, and she'll run the tote favourite back a little bit inside her trunky dock. Starter about to release them, and it's galloped out. Spitfire Lady, it went for a gallop, but it is a start, and away very quickly the front line is Bronze Medal, Technicolor and Sparrow Hawk. Sparrowhawk showing good speed is going to trot its way up towards the lead when they settle down for Robinson. Sparrowhawk takes up the lead, settling, leads out 2 lengths when they settle. Bronze medal second on the inside of Technicolor, and they're 3 lengths in front of Supremacy James, up 4th at the early point, followed by Dashing Dancer. On the outside of it is Radiant Romeo when they come off the back straight. Further back, Trunky Doc was caught out wide. In front of it is Spitfire Lady as they come into the home straight. Over on the rail, Countina, and about 80 metres tailed off last of all is Hello Honey. The square gate as the Trotters are spread right out as they run to the judge with 2 laps to go, and the leader is Sparrowhawk. By a length and 3/4 to Bronze Medal second, about 2 lengths to Technicolor third. 4th on the rail is Supremacy James. On the outside of it, moving forward there is Radiant Romeo. Now, Spitfire Lady has got a nice run on the back there of Radiant Romeo, turning to the back straight. Dashing Dancer back on the rail. A length further back, Countina. On the outside of them, Trunky Doc. And about a dozen lengths last of all after going a circuit in the Trotters event is Hello Honey. A lap and a half to trot down the back straight. And the leader is Sparrowhawk, about 8 metres in front, and second placing Bronze Medal. A similar margin third is Technicolor, and about a length and a quarter further back Supremacy James. Then moving up is Radiant Romeo with about 1,400 metres to go. On the fence, Dashing Dancer. On the outside, travelling okay now, Spitfire Lady. 2 lengths further back, Countina. A length and a half to Trunky Doc. And about a dozen lengths last of all to Hello Honey. This leader on its own as they wheel around that top circle, about 1,300 metres to go. Into the straight they come, and Sparrowhawk is doing it quite well in front. Square Gate's beautifully up the home straight, trots out about 2 or 4 or 5 lengths in front of in second placing Bronze Medal. About 3 or 4 lengths further back in the field, then making a run now as Radiant Romeo around the outside of Technicolor, not going well. Now Spitfire Lady's going to run to 4th shortly on the back of Radiant Romeo. It's going home very well, Spitfire Lady number 8. They're followed on the rail there by Supremacy James from Countina the outside. Further back in the field then as they go to that turn is Dashing Dancer, followed on the outside of it by Trunky Doc and Hello Honey last of all. Sparrowhawk cuts into the back straight. I don't know whether it can keep going though. It's Sparrowhawk down the back with about 700 metres to go. About 8 to 10 metres in front of in second placing Radiant Romeo. But here's Spitfire Lady. She pulls to the outside and she's starting to go after the leaders quickly. Dropping out of it there, Bronze Medal, and they're followed further back, running on by Countina, going home well. Then at the head of the others is Technicolor from Trunky Doc. Sparrowhawk is feeling the pinch in front, 400 to go. Spitfire Lady grabs it in a stride. Dropping out of it, Radiant Romeo and Countina running home well, but the favourite Spitfire Lady swept to the front of the 300-metre mark and went for home. The driver looked over his shoulder, found Countina coming home well, and galloping there on the top circle is Sparrowhawk, and then further back at the head of the others would have been Trunky Doc, but in the straight and Spitfire Lady about 8 metres in front. Countina coming after it, but the leader's got a nice break, Spitfire Lady. She's 5 metres in front, Countina trying hard, but Spitfire Lady, despite beginning badly, has won about 6 or 8 metres. Second, Countina, about 15 metres. Third, Supremacy James. Then further back was Trunky Doc. A long way back there, Dashing Dancer, Radiant to Romeo galloped home. Hello Honey picked a couple up, and they were Technicolor just coming in as Bronze Medal. It's well out of its ground. And one of the last in is Radiant Romeo and company with Sparrowhawk. He made the pace but carved up to run last. Into the home straight, and here we see Spitfire Lady shooting clear for driver Annie Ford, holding Countina quite safely at bay. The two mares occupying the first and second position. From a long way back into third placing is Supremacy James, but Spitfire Lady, although she got a fair way back after beginning badly, had a nice run behind Radiant Romeo and was too good in the run of the line. Number 8, Spitfire Lady first. 9, Countina. Karen Dunstan in the white cap wielding the whip at Countina. The driver on Spitfire Lady content to sit there, let that mare make her own way to the winning line. And she's proved too good for number 9, Countina. Number 11, third, Supremacy James. 8, 9 and 11. 8, 9, 11. On the 3DB Stakes, race number 8 on the program, the winner by Brad Hanover from Teresa Jane. I Love It and Cheryl M. Ford, the connections, a chestnut mare. Prepared by AA Lovett at Strathleigh and driven by N.E. Ford. Racing in great form, won here at Moonee Valley on Christmas Eve, and again has delivered the goods here this afternoon. Number 8, Spitfire Lady. Number 9, Countina second. Count Bay from Tuftina. Third, Supremacy James by Speed Supreme from Vella Jane. 8, 9 and 11. The placings there, the last half mile in 64.6, and the winner will pay 130 and 70. 75 for Countina and Supremacy James $1.65. 8, 9 and 11 on the 8th event on the program. Well, of the others, Dashing Dancer got a long way back. Radiant Romeo made a few mistakes. Hello Honey was tailed off, beat a few home on the run of the line. Bronze Medal got up into a prominent position early, but she weakened. Sparrow Hawk began fast, took up the lead, but ensured a good pace in actual fact. Finished at the back of the field. And Countina and Spitfire Lady, despite the fact they got back, they did run on quite well. Now the interim tow dividends, number 8 Spitfire Lady, 130 and 70. 9 Countina, 75. And 11 Supremacy James, $1.65. Quinella dividend is $2.50. Trifecta 8, 9, 11. $17.20. $17.20 for the trifecta, 8, 9 and 11. Winner resuming there, or returning I should say. Racing in good form through October, November and December and now into January, so she's been holding a form particularly well. It's Chestnut Mare, she really stayed very, very well on the run of the line. Countina, she didn't give up. She continued to make good ground on the leader, Spitfire Lady, from the home turn on. And 11 Supremacy James, driven by Ron Hall in the third placing, 8, 9 and 11. The new record, the mile rate is 26.4. 26.4 the mile rate. And that is a new record. Now the runners for this series we're talking about earlier in the day, this is the Southern Cross Saddle Pace Relay. And the 5 teams will go over 900 metres. The total journey is 3,600 metres. And they're coming out onto the track. We'll give you the colours. We'll go through the details on this particular Saddle Pace Relay, where they have to exchange a baton on each circuit. We'll have these details shortly. These runners are on the track now for this novelty event, the Southern Cross Saddle Pace Relay. You're watching harness racing on this magnificent free day of harness racing at Moonee Valley, exclusive to 7.
Explain once again the rules of the race. Each member in the saddle must complete 1 lap at a pacing gait. Any horse that breaks or gallops may be disqualified. And each team must exchange a baton, which is a riding crop, within the length of the front straight at the end of each lap. Now, if the baton's dropped during the changeover, the rider has to dismount, retrieve the baton, and then remount before proceeding in the race. So that could slow a few down. And the first team to complete 4 laps with the baton in hand will be declared the winner. Now, there you can see the pink with the dark blue diamond, which is the Ballarat team. And that will be Jan Murray, Steve Hornsby, Alec Douglas and Jennifer Douglas, and Colin Holloway is the team manager there. The red colours with the white monogram we'll come to in a moment, but there's the black with the orange diamond, and that's Hamilton, Damien Jones, Keith Toolman, Robert Agnew and David Miller, and they're away now. So let's have a look at the early stages of this. And Hamilton has gone out very, very quickly indeed. And they're going to go into the early stages a clear leader. Let's go up to Brian Martin for a clearer picture of the race.
Okay, thanks for that, Pete. Now they've got to keep these horses down to a pace, and the Hamilton team are well out in front. Getting up now, Ballarat will get up through and get second at the moment from the Cranbourne team on the outside, and they've got away now. They're well out in front as they head down the back. Right out of it at the moment is the Yarra Glen side. The changeover happens at the top of the home straight. They must keep these horses down to a pace. They're all wearing hobbles, and the leader is the Hamilton team as they come off the back. They're about 4 or 5 lengths in front at the moment from the Ballarat side. Then moving up on the outside now is the Cranbourne team third. Up along the inside, Kyabram goes to fourth, and tailed right off of Yarra Glen. Hamilton, they're going to turn. Now they've got the length of the straight here to change the baton over. So the boy here from Hamilton will start moving away. The riding crop about to be passed across. He's picked it up perfectly. It's a good changeover. Kyabram are picking up ground. They're about to pass over again. He actual fact put it in his mouth. That rider there from the Kyabram side, but the horse has broken up. The Kyabram team have broken up. He must get that horse down to pace. And Hamilton go out of the straight on the second leg of this relay with a commanding break. Now Kyabram are down and pacing. They go to second. And into third placing there go Cranbourne. Then breaking up a little roughly on that turn there is Ballarat. They're running fourth. And last Yarra Glen, and they're right out of the event. But Hamilton have done everything right in front. The Hamilton on their second leg, and they go down the back about a dozen to 15 lengths in front and pacing smoothly on the second leg. Galloping there in the back straight there is Kyabram, and around them quickly goes Cranbourne. Now Cranbourne go to second, and they're going out after this leader. The Cranbourne horses pacing very swiftly out after Hamilton. There's about 15 to 20 metres between them. Getting to third is Ballarat. Kyabram have thrown all winning chance away. They've dropped right out, and they're tailed off fourth. And Yarra Glen will probably pick them up and get into fourth position. Hamilton are under pressure at the end of the second leg. Their rider is about to move off down near the rail. The changeover point coming over. He brings the crop around to the near side, changes over. It's a good changeover. But I tell you what, making good ground on them now is Cranbourne. Cranbourne only a couple of lengths behind. Hamilton changeover in front on the third leg now in this saddle pace relay. They lead by 3 lengths. Kyabram in Cranbourne in second placing, going after them. Now into third, a long way back into third is Ballarat. Let's have a look for fourth at the moment. Fourth is held by Kyabram, and Yarra Glen is still last. They go into the third leg, and it's still Hamilton the leader. Hamilton, the representative, rides down the back. The horse pacing sweetly, about a dozen lengths in front. In second place in Cranbourne, and about 80 metres further back, Ballarat have got to third. A long way back is Kyabram, and tailed off in last position is Yarra Glen. I think that's Jackie Pujol who's riding there for Yarra Glen. Could be a good finish coming up at the end of the third leg, and the leader as they come up in this saddle pace relay is Hamilton. They've been in front from the outset. They're about a dozen lengths in front, and second place in Cranbourne, and a long way back Ballarat at third as they come to the top turn. Now the last leg coming up, they've got the straight here to change over the riding crops, which of course are the batons, and here they come. The changeover coming up, looks to be okay. They didn't drop it, although the horse began a little roughly, and Cranbourne are only about 5 lengths away. They've made a smooth crossover. The last leg is on its way now. They've gone to the winning post, and the leader is Hamilton. The Hamilton team go out of the straight, about 5 lengths in front. Cranbourne are going after him, and Ballarat have made up a lot of ground. They're in third placing, but still about 80 metres away. Kyabram get to fourth. They're tailed well back, and here's the changeover coming up for Yarra Glen. They're about a half a lap behind. Hamilton have been in front from the outset in this Southern Cross saddle pace relay. The end of the 3,600 metres coming up. Hamilton down the back about 5 lengths in front. Cranbourne, the team, still chasing and chasing pretty keenly, and they're 80 metres in front of Ballarat, which get to third, and about a similar margin further back then is Kyabram. Yarra Glen last of all. Hamilton the leader, they're 4 lengths in front. Cranbourne are trying hard, although he hasn't moved on. The pacer up in front. The boys sitting hard against it, wheeling for home, but Cranbourne are starting to peg them back quickly. Hamilton turned for home in the last leg. They're 3 lengths in front. He pulls to the outside on the horse from Cranbourne. Hamilton the leader, but Cranbourne are finishing quickly. It's a great finish coming up. Cranbourne on the outside take the lead. They've beaten off Hamilton, and the relay is going to go to the Cranbourne side. They're drawing away, and to the line go the victors, Cranbourne by 2 lengths. Second is Hamilton, and about 80 metres further back is Ballarat in third placing. Down the straight, wielding the shillelagh is Kyabram, who will clock in fourth. And the last team over the line, just about to turn around the corner now, are Yarra Glen, a long way from them. Here they come around the top turn here, and it's Hamilton who jumped straight to the front, but this horse was getting weary in front. And for the only time in the race, the challengers Cranbourne, sponsored by Brian Mackay of Cranbourne, the butchers down there, and look at this for a great finish coming up with the Cranbourne team taking the lead from Hamilton, who'd been in front for probably 3,500 metres of the 3,600 metre trip, and to the line go Cranbourne. Congratulations to the 4 reps. It's Rachel Russell, Karen Dunsford, Ronnie Hall and Ann Dalton, the team from Cranbourne. Good luck to them. And they've defeated, aside from Hamilton, with Ballarat third and Kyabram fourth position, and Yarra Glen they didn't get much of a look in. They're in last position. Something different, something we don't see every day, and the crowd have loved it too because it's been a great finish. It looked as though it might have been a bit of a cakewalk for Hamilton after they had a lead at one point of about 60 metres over the opposition, but they didn't give up with Cranbourne, and home they went to win.
Good fashion by Spitfire Lady, and Neil Ford, the winning driver, is with us now. Neil, a bit of a problem at the start there. She got out of her gate for a while. What happened?
Yeah, well, she went up to the mobile, and she hit her head in the mobile, and then she went out of them. But she's lucky she come down pretty quick, you know.
Yeah, she seemed to balance out very quickly.
Yeah,
normally reliable in the trotting gate.
Oh yes, she's usually pretty good, you know. Like last time she won down there, she went out of the gear, but she come down and she still won, you know.
Now, at what stage did you think you had the race in your keeping? Because as it turns out, it was a fairly easy win.
Oh yes, down the back straight, when I was following the horse outside to death, that's when I had the 1-1 set and I pulled out. I knew I had it then, going down the back, yeah.
We might take a look at the concluding stages. of the 8th event on the card, and you might be able to take us through. Can you tell us just where you are at that stage?
Yeah, well, I'm in the 1-1 sit that horse. I'm sitting behind that horse out in the death seat there.
Right.
And she's going pretty easy there, you know, at the present time. And I thought, gee, I've got to do something. That front horse is getting away from us. And I thought, well, I better try and make a move to try and catch him. I didn't think I was going to catch him. You know, he's going that quick up in front.
Yeah, probably about 25 metres between you there.
Yes.
But, when you pulled her out 3 wide, she did sprint pretty hard.
Oh, yeah, she come pretty quick, you know, and she's an honest little mare like that. Once you pull her out the set, she can sprint pretty quick, you know.
She's closed the gap up there to about 8 metres coming off the back straight, and I suppose you were pretty confident.
I was confident there. I was confident there. I could see John Robertson Dawes put in a wrong in there, and I thought, well, I'm home and O's now. You know, I looked behind for the second horse coming. It was coming pretty quick, you know, but she won all right, you know.
Now, you're sitting reasonably quietly there. Sometimes we see drivers, when they're driving trotters, having to nurse them down the home straight, but you're giving her a few cuts with the whip there. No problems with her there?
No. Just keeping the mind on the job and know what's going. Yeah, that's right, you know. Long way to come for nothing.
She's drawn away and won by around about 4 or 5 metres in the final stages. What will you be doing with her? Because that's 2 wins at Moonee Valley now.
Yeah, well, I want to talk to the trainer and see if we can turn her out for a while now.
All right.
And bring her back again.
Now, where do you hail from?
Maryborough.
You've been in the harness racing game a while?
All my life, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, nice to have a winner at Moonee Valley. Congratulations.
In the ward. Thanks a lot.
Neil Ford, the driver of Spitfire Lady, the winner of the 8th race, the 3DB Stakes. And we'll be back with more action on the Big 6 free day here at Moonee Valley after this break. Second race today of the Ansett National Young Drivers Championship Stakes. Runners going onto the track. And there's Bill Dornoff behind number 1 Beryl Star. Bill.
Yeah, Beryl Star looks the leader, Peter. He, pretty smart beginner and didn't have much luck last time at Cranbourne when sat outside the leader and ran 9th to Van Race. Previous start badly held up behind Barmer King at Yarra Glen. Must come into the race with a good chance from barrier 1.
On paper, you wouldn't concede much of a chance to number 2 on the rocks. Its last 3 runs have been 5th, 10th and 9th, and the driver is Gregory Kelly.
I think you've said most of all you can say about on the rocks. Really, the form isn't anything to write home about, but the field's not over strong, and it wouldn't shock if on the rocks when it ran a good race.
The Tate favourite before was number 3, and that was Little One, and Helen Benjer, who was runner-up in the first of the races today, is the driver behind Little One.
Yes, well, probably entitled to be favourite too, Peter. Ran a very good race here behind Cycle Bay on Christmas Eve, and then sat in the death seat at Hamilton and put in a real tough performance to win over 2150. That was on New Year's Day, so I'd say that entitled to be favourite and entitled to be the hardest one to beat, Little One.
Daryl Gross is the driver of number 4, Raven Hill. Its last couple of starts haven't been up to par, but prior to that had been racing consistently.
Yes, well, put in a couple of excellent performances before his last 2, and the second at Bendigo behind Norm's Boy was an excellent run, as too was his previous run, which was a win there. Didn't have much luck at his last 2 outings, but I think he gets his chance today. The distance of 1900 metres suits admirably and does get out of the mobile pretty quickly.
Now, 2 drivers were fighting out the Young Drivers Championship before the start of today's racing, and one of them is Jock Dunlop, who's driving number 5, Thule Landing.
He's impressed greatly, Jock Dunlop, with his driving since he came here for this championship series. Unfortunately, he hasn't drawn one of the best horses in the race, Thule Landing. It's not racing in any great form at the moment, and in fact it's a long time since it won Thule Landing, but Jock Dunlop is a great driver, and he's going to position it pretty well.
It's amazing what good drivers can do to sometimes substandard horses. They give them the run of the race.
Well, Peter, we've seen this through the series. There's been quite a few long shots have won during the series, and it just shows you that perhaps a change of scenery, a change of roadsmanship, and the best can be got out of horses.
Well, there's the other one of the young drivers who's in contention, and that is Hayden Fisher behind number 6, Bye Bye Pinky.
Yes, well, Bye Bye Pinky's last run was second at Hamilton behind North Hanover, but I feel that it'll be at long odds today, Bye Bye Pinky. There's not really much to recommend by the way of form. That form at Hamilton really isn't up to Moonee Valley class.
Well, it really does show the evenness of this competition as Bye Bye Pinky goes around there, that the 2 leading drivers are on horses that you don't consider to be much chance. So it is a bit of a lottery, isn't it? Because they could draw anything.
That's right. Well, they might be fighting out this championship, even finishing back in the field. They'll still be trying to attain the best place possible, even if they're running 6th and 7th. Let's
move along to number 7, Encore Away, and the driver here is John McMullen.
Yes, well, Encore Away was very disappointing at Kilmore on Friday after an excellent win at Warragul last Tuesday night. Perhaps he didn't back up that well after a hard run at Warragul to win when he sat outside the leader. It was disappointing at Kilmore. He might do better today driven with a sit. We'll see what happens.
Mark to winners out. Number 9 is Nakato, driven by the gentleman we spoke to earlier in the day, who won the second race on the program, and that's Neil McCallum.
Well, he's going to have to use every bit of his ability to get Nakado home, because Nakado to me is just a one-pace plotter, and he's drawn barrier 8 over 1,900 metres, and I don't think he's got the necessary speed to get him into this race.
Number 10 is Mark's mate, and the driver here, Brett Pay.
Well, Mark's mate was very unlucky last start in a qualifying here at Moonee Valley last Saturday week. Ran 4th to Super Romeo, but with any luck at all, I think it would have won. Didn't take off out of a good sit down the back straight last time and got boxed in, and was flying home at the finish. Hasn't drawn too badly on the inside of the second line here, considering that Beryl Star's a fast beginner, so I expect a good race from Mark's mate.
And number 11, Lockwood Road, is out, and that leaves us with 12, Crafty Lee, the other Tasmanian driver in Carl Ryan.
Been racing very consistently in much better company here without winning. Last run was 4th at Moonee Valley on January the 4th to Snowbird. The field is much weaker here, and I think Crafty Lee's got to be one of your top picks in the race.
The scratchings 8 and 11, what have you come up with, Bill?
And I thought perhaps Beryl Star, who likes to lead, and the danger's either Mark's mate or Crafty Lee.
Now a field of 10 to run. 1,900 metres the journey. They come, Beryl Star on the inside, on the rocks on 2. Little one, $1.80, $1.55 for Crafty Lee to pay. 10 running, 24 and 23 class horses. Ricardo, the outside of the front line. Make a good line. Starter lets them go. The green light comes up and away they go. Encore Away has begun pretty well, but beating them out, Thule Landing in the centre. It's begun quickly, so has Beryl Star, and on the rocks. They'll get up on the inside and keep Thule Landing out wide on the first turn. Now Encore Away was trapped out wide, had to pull back and took Nakado back with it when they settled down, and Crafty Lee second last on the rail. Now the leader is Beryl Star, the pole marker into the back, led by a length and a quarter on the rocks second. Thule Landing goes up third in the death. Over on the inside, Little One moving up to get the 1-1 is Bye Bye Pinky. They're followed down the back straight by, over on the inside, Mark's mate. On the outside of it, Raven Hill. A length further back as they drop the speed is Encore Away. Up on the fence, Crafty Lee. Last of all, Nakado. They've got 1,350 metres to go, and he's going to dictate his own terms, young Bill Dornoff, on this leader, Beryl Star. Running the race to suit himself, about 4 metres in front. Jock Dunlop second on Thule Landing, going up into the death. On the fences, on the rocks, Greg Kelly from New South Wales. They're followed further back over on the inside there by Little One. On the outside of him, moving up 1 deep. And getting the 1-1 position now is Bye Bye Picky, driven by Hayden Fisher from WA. Pulling out from the back of the field is Encore Away out 3 deep, going around the outside. Ravenhill pulling out in front of him. Encore Away out 4 deep and Ravenhill 3 wide, but they're making their runs together. From a long way back in the field is Nakado improving around Mark's mate, and last of all Crafty Lee, driven patiently, getting up on the inside. They bunch up. The Tasmanian boys are first and last respectively at the moment. Beryl Star the leader. Into the back with about 800 to go, led 2 metres to on the outside. Thule Landing under pressure. Out 3 deep is Ravenhill. Locked away as on the rocks for Greg Kelly over on the inside trying to get out. They're followed further back in the field by Little One, locked up on the inside of Bye Bye Pinky. And right off the track is Encore Away, doing it the hard way. Further back then is Crafty Lee back to the inside, and Mark's mate last of all. Beryl Star the one they've got to run down. He hasn't moved on this one. Bill Dornoff for Tasmania, 2 metres in front. In second placing over on the inside on the rocks, trying to get out just ahead of him, Ravenhill. When they come to the top circle and getting out, Little One is starting to come home well. Beryl Star straightened 2 metres in front of Ravenhill. Little One could be the danger, works to the outside, running home well, and Crafty Lee is getting clear. Coming home well, the leader, Beryl Star, he pulls the whip. Little One grabs him, and Crafty Lee is getting out, but it might be too late. Little One goes to the front from Beryl Star. Crafty Lee runs on well to third, but Little One is coming away now for Helen Benja from Victoria, and it's a Victorian win for Little One. 5 metres Beryl Star, 4 metres away third is Crafty Lee, so the Tasmanians have run second and third. Then a gap to Ravenhill, further back in the field, then on the rocks over on the inside. Further out then was Mark's mate, and well back there was Bye Bye Pinky, and a good gap then to Encore Away. Company with Nakado, and Thule Landing, after being trapped out a little early, is last in. Oh, beautiful piece of driving there by Helen Benja from Victoria. Got this horse away from the rail. Little One to quickly race and tackle the leader Beryl Star when they turn. And it's Helen Benja and Little One, a great win for Victoria. Little One, Helen Benja, perfectly handled, sprinting away from Beryl Star. And after being last of the bell, Crafty Lee, driven by Carl Ryan, comes home fairly well to run into third placing. The numbers are 3, 1 and 12. 3, 1 and 12. Here's Helen Benja, flicking the whip just down the shaft there on Little One, getting sufficient out of that horse. to gain the day over Beryl Star and come clear on the post for a good win. Helen drives horses and drives them very, very well. A daughter of Dick Benja from up there at Bendigo. And a good win. Number 3, Little One, by Gyro from Kushler. Winner at Hamilton on the 1st of January. And handled to absolute perfection by Helen Benja here, because I didn't give the horse much chance with a lap to go. It was locked away over on the inside, prepared by Ian Shoulders at Ararat. And Helen's made the best of this opportunity to defeat Beryl Star. Bill Dornoff, who was travelling very well in front. Looked like a Tasmanian win coming up. And Crafty Lee, this mare was last. Tasmanian Carl Ryan driving, has come from last to the bell to get into 3rd placing, but never really looked the winner. Last half mile in 60.2. Winner showing $1.85 and 75 when they jumped away. Beryl Star $1.15. Crafty Lee 70 cents on the jump away. So that's a great effort by Helen. Helen, of course, was in the earlier heat of that Ansett Championship, and Helen ran second on Rival Star after taking the lead in the early point, to be run down by Neil McKellen from Victoria. And it's Helen Benja back with a vengeance here with Little One. A good solid win over Beryl Star and Crafty Lee, 3, 1 and 12. Tote Dividend's about to come up. The final event is rescheduled now for 5 to 5. Might even run a little later due to the action that's been out here this afternoon at Moonee Valley. The win tote will be $1.85 for Little One, $1.85. And the place dividend's about to come up as the winner returns. Helen Benja getting a good ovation from the crowd, which does exceed 14,000 people here today. So she should, because it was a perfect piece of horsemanship in that event. Beryl Star coming in second, behind it Crafty Lee. 4th in, number 4, which is Raven Hill, Darryl Gross. And 5th in, number 2 on the rocks, Greg Kelly from New South Wales. Dividends, Little One, number 3, $1.85 and 75. Beryl Star, $1.15. Crafty Lee, 70. $1.85 and 75. $1.15 and 70 for 3rd. The Quinella dividend will be $7 even. $7 even for the Quinella. Let's have a look for the trifecta. No, not there as yet. The extra double 8 and 3, $5.05. $5.05 for the extra double. So it's $1.85 and 75, $1.15, 70, 7 even for the Quinella, $5.05 the trifecta for 8 and 3. And the trifecta dividend we'll have in just a moment. Little One coming off the track there with Helen Benja over Beryl Star 2nd, Crafty Lee 3rd. And there's the all clear on the 2nd round, the final round of the Ansett National Young Drivers Championship. Stakes here, the 2nd heat this afternoon. 3, 1 and 12 and the all clear notified. You're watching Harness Racing live from Moonee Valley.
Running of the final event, the Sporting Globe Stakes. And shouldn't be too long before they get underway. The scratching is number 2, Mojito Boy, and a field of 10 to run. So let's have a look at the result of race 9 on the card, and there you see Little One on $1.85 and 75 cents. Beryl Star $1.15, Crafty Lee 70 cents, the Quinella $7, and the trifecta $44.85. And the extra double here at Moonee Valley today on the numbers 8 Spitfire Lady and 3 Little One paid a dividend of $5.05. Okay, well, let's go to the runners in the final event once again with Bill Hutchison, who's been taking us throughout the day. And Billy, the lucky last, number 1 Raglan Skipper, and the driver here, Gavin Lang, having its first start.
Yes, well, it's having its first start, Peter, but someone knows something about it, because very short on the tote, about a 6 to 4 chance on the tote, and probably on the strength of a couple of good trials. It has trialled pretty well recently, and this field isn't over strong. It's in a very strong stable. Peter Walsh and Gavin Lang on board. So let's have a good look at it anyway, but it must be very well fancied.
He looks a nice type of a horse, doesn't he?
Does he ever? Well, the Tarport Skippers are all good types. If you remember, a horse called Mississippi Transfer a couple of years ago was a big, well, not unlike this fellow.
All right, well, if the tote's any indication, he's certainly going to acquit himself well. We move to number 3, that horse with the very strange name, Arthur Dunga.
One of the dark ones.
CAL for the driver.
Arthur Dunga blotted his copybook at Yarra Glen last start when he missed the start badly and ran down the track, but previous one at Terrelgan, in pretty good company, and I think from barrier 2 he's right in the race, Arthur-Dunga, and Chris Alford's a good young driver.
Okay, number 4, Shadow Bow, the driver J.L. Simpson.
Recent form very ordinary, and probably would have to improve a lot to win this.
5, Mature Miss, Casey Hampton.
It's got some ability, and we'll probably be running somewhere near the place at the finish, but it'll be hard to see her winning it.
Another one of the light race horses in the final event, number 6, Cyclone Simon, the driver here is Russ O'Connor.
It's had one run, which was here on Christmas Eve behind Hypers, that didn't have much luck and had trialled well here beforehand at Moonee Valley.
7, Bluegrass Dancer, pardon me, the driver is DM Jonas.
Unlucky second at Yarra Glen, 3 starts back behind Petite Bye Bye. Won a trial here last Thursday night and probably got some chance, but the barrier's a bit wide.
Number 8, Brief Sprinkle, D.A. Thompson.
Returned from South Australia, and the form's starting to build up a bit. Had no luck at all at Warrigal last start, went 6th to Brett Steed, go on the second to Gold Chick at Yarra Glen the start before.
9, Go Brad, Graham Wilson.
Looks outclassed here from this barrier, not racing very well at all.
Number 10, Springfield Hero, M. Bond.
He's a pretty erratic sort of horse, but if he can get into a good position early from barrier 10, well, has some chance.
And number 11, Cute Time, the driver is DB Gap.
Well, it was favoured in the Humbletonian and Cranbourne last start and ran 7th, and a flat-out 7th. I can't see him getting into this race, Peter.
Summing up, Bill?
Well, I'd say I'll go with the weight of the money and go for Raglan Skipper to beat Arthur-Dunga.
All right, well, how's the day been for you, just in closing?
Oh, it's been all right. I've enjoyed the day and the number of people that are around. I'm not too sure how it is financially. I haven't gone down to check with the boys, but it's been tremendous and been great publicity for the harness racing game.
All right, I think there was about 17,000 people too, and many newcomers amongst them.
Well, that's tremendous. And Neil Donnelly asked me to remind people if they missed anything today, well, it'll be all in his column tomorrow in the Sun.
No doubt about it. Well, Neil's retired from driving in media races. I think he's found the right spot sitting up in the grandstand and watching it all go on. But thanks for your help today, Bill, and hope when you do go back to the boys that it's been a winning day.
It's a pleasure, Peter.
Bill Hutchison, leading bookmaker, joining us here on Seven's live telecast today. And here's the man who's been flat out for most of the day. How's the voice, Brian?
Pleased to see this is the last, Pete. Pleased to see this is the last. I look forward to seeing you in about 20 minutes, eh?
Okay, mate.
Okay, you know where to go.
Yes.
Okay. See you down there. Raglan Skipper, number 1, the unraced, as they move up here. He's a 4-year-old, having his first time to the races. But the Cranbourne reports are pretty good about him. Apparently he has been trialling okay. Here he is, number 1, Raglan Skipper. He's not carrying much condition. Behind him is Cute Time. As Bill mentioned, was beaten when back from 7 to 1 into 9 to 4 in the Humbletonian. The Humbletonian was a race put on at Cranbourne last Monday for horses who hadn't won a race. And Cute Time was down there. She was down there amongst them, and to run 7th isn't really great recommendations for a race like this. Shadow Bow in the purple and white checks and the purple sleeves. Go Brad coming towards us with Graham Wilson driving. Left of screen there behind the clerk of the course. Behind it, Brief Sprinkle. And his bottom 4 are all outside the draw. Horses, they'll start from the second line. Started calling them up, a field of 10 in the Sporting Globe Stakes. The Sporting Globe out now, actually, on sale here at Moonee Valley and probably in your newsagent as I speak. The all-new look Sporting Globe. They're moving up well. Don't forget Grandstand, live back with all the racing from around Australia here at Moonee Valley, 3 p.m. next Saturday. Grandstand exclusive to 7. Ready to go now in the final event. Raglan Skipper, heavily back from barrier 1. 1900 metres the journey. Oh, out of its gear there is Arthur-Dunga. Not causing any problems behind, I don't think. No, starter lets them go. They're away. Arthur-Dunga's going to gallop its way out of the race. Raglan Skipper a bit slow away. Out quickly, Mature Miss and Cyclone Simon going up quickly on the outside. Cyclone Simon trying to get to the lead as they go into that turn. He's trying to cross over in front of Mature Miss, and he'll do so now. And when they settle down now, Cyclone Simon went to the front to lead a length and a half. Mature Miss is second. Back in the field over on the inside, Shadow Bow. On the outside of it came Bluegrass Dancer. 3 deep being eased back as Go Brad, and they're followed over on the inside by Raglan Skipper. On the outside of it, moving up 1 deep is Springfield Hero. 2 lengths further back, Cute Time. A couple of lengths to Brief Sprinkle, and tailed right off is Arthur-Dunga. On the circle, 14.50 out. The leader here is Cyclone Simon, a length in front. Going up second, Go Brad. Over on the inside, Mature Miss third. Moving back is Shadow Bow now to be 1 out and 1 back, and they're starting to string out now from Bluegrass Dancer on the outside of Raglan Skipper. The favourite midfield on the rail, and they're followed a length off by Springfield Hero. Over along the rail then Cute Time, a length further back than Brief Sprinkle, and about 200 metres tailed off as Arthur-Dunga. Into the straight they come, and down the home straight, and the leader as they're under the judge, Cyclone Simon for O'Connell, led by a length and a half. Mature Miss is second. A length and a half further back, Go Brad, coming away from the fence to third. Shadow Bow's had a nice run behind it, fourth, and poking up on the inside. Raglan Skipper starting to improve. A length further back than Bluegrass Dancer in the next couple as they wheel into the final circle is Cute Time. He's getting up along the inside now of Bluegrass Dancer and well back in the field. The last couple of the main bunch, Brief Sprinkle and Springfield Hero and Arpadung are out of the race. Down the back, and the leader is Cyclone Simon, about 550 metres to go. In second placing on the outside is Go Brad, who's battling on. Locked away is Mature Miss going a right if it gets out. Pulled to the outside, Shadow Bow out 3 deep. Raglan Skipper about to work away from the rail is travelling all right, although they're starting to bunch up around him. Around him goes Bluegrass Dancer from Springfield Hero off the track. Raglan Skipper held up for a run when they're starting to drop out in front of him, and Cyclone Simon at the 300, about 5 metres in front. Now Shadow Bow gets to second, running home very quickly. Then a gap in the field to Springfield Hero. Raglan Skipper is back behind them when they turn. Shadow Bow moved up to Cyclone Simon. Cyclone Simon the leader. Shadow Bow getting to him on the outside. They're going stride for stride. Shadow Bow ducked in again. Cyclone Simon a metre in front. He's broken up Shadow Bow. And Cyclone Simon will come on the win by about 8 to 10 metres in the run home. To second, Shadow Bow. Raglan Skipper got up to run third. Ahead of Springfield Hero. Further back in the field then, Bluegrass Dancer at the head of the others. Then wider out in the track would have been Brief Sprinkle. Well back in the field then, or coming in very late is Cute Time. Couple of stragglers now, a Go Brad. And just pulling up, one of the last in is Arpadung. Arpadung caught Mature Miss and went to the line with it. Number 6 is the winner. Number 6, Cyclone Simon. Number 6, driven by R.J. O'Connell. Shadow Bow looks set to beat it. When they wheel for home, as you'll notice, in the replay, he's about to hop, skip and jump, and there he goes for a gallop. Shadow Bow, after looming up and looking a big threat, but under pressure he broke up and threw away his winning chance. Photo call for third. Here we see it again now. Shadow Bow there in the white boots, white cap. He's about to get out of his gear now. You'll see him left of screen. There he goes. He's about to mix his gait, put in a couple of wrong strides, and that's presented the race to Cyclone Simon. Ahead of Shadow Bow, and the judge calling on the photo for third placing. You'll find that Raglan Skipper, number 1, in the photo will get up and get third. 6, 4, and number 1 will get third after the photo. There it is now, number 1. Cyclone Simon, the winner. Second placing to Shadow Bow, number 4, and number 1, Raglan Skipper is third. Interim tote dividends, the winner 6, Cyclone Simon, to pay $2.95 and $1. Number 4, Shadow Bow, returning $1.75, and Raglan Skipper, a little bit slow away from position number 1, is showing a dividend of about 80 cents for the place. The winner driven by R.J. O'Connell, number 6, number 4 second, and number 1 in third placing Raglan Skipper. 6, 4 and 1 on the final event on the program, and that just about takes us away from the broadcasting point. Drove it in very, very good fashion too. The horse landed some good bets, particularly late in betting, was a big firmer on the tote. Graham's down to the mounting out now, talking with Pete Donegan.
Thank you, Brian. Well, I would imagine, Graham, that you might have had a few anxious moments early in the race because being drawn on the second line, you did get back a bit in the early stages.
Well, I was pretty worried, Peter, and I was thinking I'd have to go down the back, and I thought if they push me off the track, I'm gone. But when the horse come around and come to the bow, I knew he was a good horse because he beat me at Cranbourne once. I knew he'd keep going, and I got onto his back, and when they didn't come out under him, I was sort of half laughing, and as you saw it, he hit the front turn for home, so I didn't have to do any work other than go past him, which was no trouble.
Plenty up your sleeve at the finish.
I had a good run, and thank goodness.
All right,
it was my turn.
We might have a look at the last lap of the race now, and you'll be able to take us through, and that's you taking up 3 wide, running about 6th or 7th at the moment.
I was real happy there because nothing came out under the horse in front of me, and I knew he would keep going. I didn't know he'd take the front like he did on the turn, but I knew he'd be there, and well, I couldn't get pushed 4 wide then because I was right there, and I was pretty happy. I knew if I got beat then, I just wasn't good enough. And well, I had every chance, didn't I? And won accordingly.
Bit of trouble out the back of the field, but at this stage you're not worried about that.
I didn't even hear it.
Getting out just about 3 and 4 wide coming off the back there. The horse balanced himself up nicely, and never any problems from here on in?
Never any at all.
Graham, I noticed the good drivers never seem to come out at the 400. They wait until they get carted around the corner at Moonee Valley. Is that how you find driving here?
Well, if you get out 4 wide or 5 wide around that last turn, you've got to have a Vinnie Knight horse for sure. My horses can't do it, and I was lucky I didn't have to make a run till I turned for home, and I give him a few fair dinkum ones, and then I had won it, so I didn't have to hit him anymore. But I had everything on the plate, really. I know I come from last, but still.
He's an improved horse, Graham, isn't he?
He's been running really well. His last 2 runs at Yarra Glen, look, I got surprised fair dinkum. The last run, 5 from home, I was 3 wide, and just got, I come second, and I was shocked at that one, and he just ran up to his form.
Well, we might take a closer look at the finish here, and here you go. And as you say, you've got plenty of reserve, only shaking the reins at him in the last bit.
Yeah, he won it nice.
Will he keep improving?
Look, the way he's going, he's got to win a couple more pretty quick, I think, because his last few runs have been very good, and they're very good. Like his last 2 runs at Yarra Glen were against good horses, a heat and final, and it was the best run in the heat and the final. Well, I've got no doubt he was, and I've come second to both of them. Well, he came out and won today, so he's just kept his form up perfect, Peter. So I think he'll go on a little bit further. He's been a good horse all his life, but not a top horse. But he's like me, he's honest.
Great earner. You've been involved in the harness racing game for a long time now, and of course the Wilson name is a very famous name in harness racing. How many horses have you got in work at the moment?
Too many. Yeah, 24. And I've got 5 race horses, and they're not much good. I've got 3 of them here today, and Adius Bielsi keeps on winning claimers, but that's about that.
What do you do in your spare time, Graham?
Yeah, keep the staff working hard.
All right, mate. Well, at least there's a winner today to reward you, and well done. Hope there's a few more around the corner.
Thank you, Pete.
Winning driver Graham Wilson aboard Avant Garde after the running of the